The very latest news that I'm seeing on Ukrainian media is that the death toll has risen to 12. Rescue operations have been going on throughout the night at this epicenter store, which is more than just a hardware store. It's a huge, sprawling place that sells all kinds of goods, including home appliances, furniture, sports equipment, as well as building materials. The mayor of Kharkiv estimated that there were around 200 people inside at the time of the strike on Saturday afternoon, when two guided glide bombs launched from Russian aircraft hit the shop. The management said that they did all they could to get people into shelters after the sirens rang out, but the hits happened very, very swiftly after the alert was launched, so they weren't able to get everybody to safety. And of course, this is just the latest in a series of deadly bombings of Kharkiv where civilians have been among the victims. On Saturday, 7 people were killed when a printworks was hit. That was a very symbolic strike for Ukrainians because it was the largest printworks printing Ukrainian language books, in fact, in the country, and it's prompted renewed calls from Ukraine for the Western allies to supply more air defences and also to allow them to strike inside Russia with weapons that have been supplied by their Western allies. Dmytro Kuleba, the foreign minister, said yesterday that those are the two ways that the Western allies could really help to reduce the number of victims from these kinds of strikes. In particular, he said, because they could, if they were allowed to use Western-supplied surface-to-air missiles, shoot down the Russian planes that are launching these glide bombs. And yesterday, the NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg added his voice to the growing list of foreign observers, politicians and commentators who are saying that the restrictions on using Western-supplied weapons by Ukraine to strike targets inside Russia should be lifted. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, also said a few days ago that he thought that that restriction should be lifted as well.
And meanwhile, Gulliver, Russia claimed a little earlier this week that it had taken another village in eastern Ukraine. There's fierce fighting ongoing in the Donetsk region. What is the latest there?
Well, I'm in Donetsk region right now in Slovyansk. I just arrived, but I had time to speak to a few soldiers this morning, and they said that the situation is stable, but they weren't able to predict what would happen in the coming weeks at all. The Russian forces further to the south of here have been advancing day by day, and Ukrainian sources confirmed yesterday that they took one more village, Umanske, that's in Donetsk region. So clearly there are big fears about how far the Russians will be able to advance here, and the soldiers I spoke to this morning said that although some new Western supplies had arrived, it wasn't yet enough.